including animation from the wall, plus new animation solely for the concert tour, and an array of special shots mostly from the pros and cons of hitchhiking. The band played for almost 2 hours, and that included Welcome to the Machine, Wish You Were Here, The Final Cut, In the Flesh, and was comprised mostly of that old Pink Floyd stuff, to quote the advertisement. Most of the songs were played off of Animals, The Wall, Wish You Were Here, The Final Cut, and so on. They took a 20-minute break in which a screen with a family room and television set dropped down. They played some trippy film on the television set from behind and blew it up at the end of the show, or at the end of the break. The second half of the show is played solely from the pros and cons of hitchhiking. It was an exhilarating show and conceptual, even better than the professionalism I expected from Roger Waters. And now on to Things to Talk About.
Hello, I am Guido Streleski, and this is Things to Think About. From my name, you can probably guess that two things. One, that I'm Polish, and two, that I have a cousin who goes to Stanford. You can talk about my mama, you can talk about my daddy, but don't talk about my shoes, you know what I mean? But they say Polish people are weird, right? I come to this country, I want to try out a new type of thing. First thing I hear is the English language, of course, and they talk about things like the Great Depression. I've had okay depressions before, I've had really bad depressions, but a great one? I don't know. If it's so great, why don't we have another one? Other proper English things like I'm terribly happy or fantastically bored, they're total contradictions. It's ridiculous. In my country, these people would be, sent to Slavovia or something like that. It's just awful. Then I go to the library. I want to get literate about these things, correct? I find books like The Onion Fields. I thought it was about mind-rid farm workers with bad breath. I thought 1984 was the star's astrological predictions for 85, you know what I mean? Gone with the Wind, a book about tornadoes in the Midwest. Lord of the Rings, Liberace's biography, of course. I thought Oliver Twist was a drink. Moby Dick, a porno book from the Castro. Slaughterhouse-Five, where were the first 4 slaughterhouses, incidentally? Hamlet, I thought it was a pork cooker's guide. These things are crazy, absolutely nuts. Then they've got a president in this country. He's a total nut. He thinks it's better to build a bomb than to pay for better farming. Now, this is like spending your money on snail repellent before you even have a garden to protect at all. That's right, and that is when these sweetbreads hit the fan, if you know what I mean. Sweetbreads are sheep's brains in my country, and like Bill Cosby said, I will not eat anything that someone has been thinking with, you know what I mean? And that is why I think there is not a cannibal alive who would eat Ronald Reagan's buttocks. Remember that. And finally, I'd like to say, in the library, I noticed a few other things. They say in the United States you can't judge a book by its cover. Well, I picked out this book, Joy in the Morning. This is the kind of book that I want to read, definitely, you know what I mean? Oh, goodness. But in any case, go out, look at some books, judge their covers, that kind of thing. This has been Guido Streleski, and I want you to think about it. Now on to Huey Lewis and the News.
Please welcome Huey Lewis and the News! I'd rather be. Where else can you do 500,000 things all at 2:45? When they play the music, ooh, that might amuse it. They like it with a lot of style, but it's still that same old backbeat rhythm. Really, really drives them wild. They say the heart of rock and roll is the beat, and for what I've seen, I believe them. Now the other one may be barely breathing, but the heart of rock and roll is the beat them. LA, Hollywood, and the Sunset Strip is something everyone should see. Neon lights and the pretty, pretty girls are dressed so scantily. When they play that music, that hard rock music, they like it with a lot of flash, but it's still that same old backbeat rhythm. Really, really kicks them in there. They say the heart of rock and roll is the beat, and from what I've seen, I believe it. Now the old one may be there to breathe it, but the heart of rock and roll is the beat. John, hey! Austin and old Baton Rouge. Tulsa, Austin, Oklahoma City, Seattle, Monte Vista too. And the music, feel like music, bands with a million styles, but it's still that same old rock and roll music. Really, really doesn't bite. They say the heart of rock and roll is the beat. And for what I've seen, I believe them. Now the old boy may be barely breathing, but the heart of rock and roll, heart of rock and roll is the beating. Heart of rock and roll.
Here I am again, trying to help you mental midgets get ahead in the intellectual world of trivia by giving you some examples which I doubt you'll remember by the end of the show. For instance, what musical key do most American car horns beep in? F. What is Nero Wolfe's favorite drink during office hours? Beer. What Paul McCartney album featured actor James Coburn? Band on the Run. How many pounds are there in a kilo? 2.2. What do humans catch zoonosis disease from? Animals. What country did Venetian blinds originate in? Japan. What does the 00 indicate in 007? A license to kill. Yeah, that's a coincidence. I have a 00 in my license number too. Where would you be if you landed at Dum Dum Airport? Calcutta. What mythical Scottish town appears one day every 100 years? Brigadoon. What army's motto is blood and fire? The Salvation Armies. How does James Bond like his martinis? Poisoned. No. Shaken, not stirred. What fraction of the Earth's gravity is the moon's? 1/6. What vocalist for The Doors died of a heart attack on July 3rd, 1971? Jim Morrison. What is the leather anniversary? The 3rd. What gangster couple was riddled with 104 bullets? Bonnie and Clyde. What rock star attended the London School of Economics for 2 years? Mick Jagger. What berries give gin its flavor? Juniper. How many years was Robinson Crusoe stranded on his island? 28. What year did the counterculture celebrate its Summer of Love? 1967. Where was Budweiser first brewed? St. Louis. What do Mick and Mac mean when used in surnames? Son of. What sport has a hooker and a scrum? Rugby. What has no reflection, no shadow, and can't stand the smell of garlic? A vampire. What's heaven to fallen Norse warriors? Valhalla. Do beavers eat fish? No. What kind of gun does the movie's Dirty Harry pack? A .44 Magnum. Why am I still doing this stupid trivia when I'm obviously boring you to death? I don't know. Have an ignorant evening. Now on to the movie review.
Looking for a good movie with some laughs to it? You might want to go see Ladyhawke starring Matthew Broderick. Broderick made his starring debut in War Games and makes a very good change from suspense to comedy. The movie is about Broderick, who was a pickpocket in medieval times. He's in jail. He's in a jail that no one has ever escaped from, but he escapes. He's then befriended by a knight with a hawk as a sidekick, and is asked by the knight to lead him back into the city he escaped from. Well, Broderick's a little unsure, but with some persuasion, the knight talks him into it. Broderick then learns the whole story behind the knight and the hawk and a beautiful girl and her wild dog, who also befriend Broderick. Ladyhawke is a very nice idea, but the writers ran into some obvious blocks and got around them in some very uninventive ways. With a little more work, the story could have been better, but the fact that the movie is more like a fable makes it quite unbelievable. This is definitely not the best movie out right now, but it's worth checking out, especially since Broderick does an excellent job in his part. Now on to a video review.
Lipton University, better known as one of the world's worst institutions of higher learning. It probably doesn't mean much to you, but if you've seen Up the Creek, you'll know what I'm talking about. The Dean of Leptumane University is played by John Hillerman, or better known as Higgins of TV's Magnum PI. Among the students are Tim Matheson and Stephen Furst, who are the infamous Greg and Flounder of National Lampoon's Animal House. The Dean makes them an offer that they can't refuse, degrees in the subjects of their choices, if they can bring home some long-awaited glory to their school by winning an intercollegiate whitewater raft race in which there are no rules. That seems simple enough, but they find themselves up against some heavy competition unprepared. This movie will definitely put a smile on your face and make you laugh because of the manners in which the characters perform. An unusual and funny character is a dog named Chuck. This canine is almost human by the way he acts and communicates, like you'll see in this scene.
Where's Irwin, Chuck?
Oh my God, they killed him.
No, they haven't killed him, but he's lying on the ground somewhere. Right, Chuck?
No, on the nose, on the
All right. Now, but where is Irwin now? Chuck, where is he now? He's trying to get into the dirt bag, scumbag.
It's a bag, lady.
He's got a bone.
Oh my God, they cut him into steaks.
They haven't cut him into steaks. They've staked him to the ground. That's it. Where is he, Chuck? Where is Irwin now? Chuck, my jacket. That's my jacket. Wait, Bob, he's trying to tell us something.
They plucked him.
I'm trying. You haven't plucked him. It's something to do with feathers, something. What? Anything gonna help?
Those aren't feathers. That's down.
Down, you're right. Down something. They got Irwin down something. Come on, Chuck, where? Give us another clue, quick. Chuck, how many syllables?
Two syllables. God, they cut out his liver.
Down liver. I've got it! What? Down liver, don't you get it? That's Japanese for down river! Yes! That's it! Those were great clues.
I thought they were kind of hard.
Up the Creek also contains music by such groups as Cheap Trick, The Beach Boys, Heart, Ian Hunter, and Kick-Axe. There is a soundtrack available on CBS Records. This movie has an interesting, suspenseful, humorous, fast-moving plot. It's the type of movie that after you've watched it once, you want to rewind it and watch it again like I did. It's an Orin Pictures release and is about 95 minutes long. I'm sure you can find it at your favorite video rental center in both beta and VHS. So some evening, when you can't decide what you want to rent for your viewing pleasure, I would suggest Up the Creek. Have a good one and see you next week. Now on to the news.
Headlining the news night, the Space Shuttle Challenger had its hubcap stolen when it parked in a bad neighborhood of town. NASA officials are fumed and under investigation to get them back. And any information leading to the arrest and conviction of anyone involved will be greatly appreciated. And now, with a special report, here's Norm. Thank you, Norm. A large community of ants were killed yesterday when two mountain-sized men rolled down the countryside. The two shown here are being sued by their only survivor, Joe Ant. And here in the studio tonight, we have that only survivor, Joe Ant. Joe, it must have been a real sight viewing the destruction of over 2 million ants in 1 second. Yeah, and how much are you suing for? Well, that's about as much as we have for the show today, Johnny. Thanks, Norm. In a related story, the Kentucky Derby winner tripled his stakes on a long shot at 30-1, and the owners were flabbergasted when he pulled into the lead. The officials are not quite sure if it's the horse and rider who entered the race, and until they can be sure, they're holding back the stakes. And now on to Merv. Thanks, Norm. And infant Joey Frankwall went on hunger strike when Joey's mother, Mrs. Frankwall, switched his regular liver and peach food for a more popular plum and cream. His mother refuses to switch back, and Joey is planning on pressing charges. And now, with the weather tonight, here's Norm. Well, Norm, the weather seems to be decreasing in humidity as well as doubling in wind velocity without hindering the barometer reading whatsoever. What I'm trying to say is, that their big change in weather will be the high pressure zone and the end tackle, which will probably change teams. So in effect, what I'm really trying to tell you is, the weather will be the same tomorrow as it will be tomorrow without a change unless there is one. Norm? That's the news. Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed our show so far, and if you do want to send in a poster, send it to Monte Vista in care of Rainbow Studios. And now on to some Huey Lewis in the News.
Yeah, she's